Hello, everybody. This is episode something of Utopia. Time out, time out. Uh, this is a recap and review of the fifth January 6th hearing. This is known unscripted. So, well, it's a good thing that we have a few days, maybe a couple of weeks to digest this and understand what's happening. Uh, in the coming days, I'll probably condense what we have learned in the last five hearings. Today, I'm going to try to keep it short and just give you some of the things that stuck out to me. So I'll go backwards. First of all, the pardons, right? Oof, oof. The email. Oh, Mo Brooks has been burned by Donald Trump. And because of that, he's now cooperating with both the press and the the committee. He has some demands, but those demands are slowly going to turn to jelly, and he's gonna seek immunity from prosecution. That's my guess, and he's gonna cooperate as much as he can. As for Scott Perry, Andy Biggs, and there's like two others. I don't know if there's at least right. You don't ask for a pardon if you don't think you did something wrong. I don't know if I said that right. I mean, you have to know that you've done something wrong and it's criminal, and that's why you're asking a pardon. You can't ask for a pardon. There's nothing to ask if you have done nothing wrong. It's an admission of guilt. Asking for a pardon is an admission of guilt. So from John Eastman, and Matt Gaetz. I wonder all the things for which Matt Gaetz wanted a pardon. I think he wanted one of those like comfort, you know, was this security blankets, security blanket pardon. They wanted a security blanket pardon, all of them. It's like, yeah, if you're having one, I'll have one of those security blanket pardons too. So, I mean, I don't know why you'd want a security blanket pardon if you didn't do anything wrong, but you never know. You never know if you made it's very minority report. I'm just hoping Tom Cruise will pop out of there somewhere and tell them, just no, this is not Minority Report, people. You don't need a security blanket pardon. I'm not gonna call it a pocket pardon because we're so fast past pockets that anyway. So we're gonna know more about that. I have to say that I feel really vindicated and like it's a comedy of horrors, and so I'm going to have to make light of as many parts of it as I can because it's so obscenely seditious. And we know where this is going. DOJ raided. Ooh, I'm gonna jump. That's called a segue, people. Um, of Jeffrey Clark, who was coincidentally, part sort of the central figure. It's kind of like Julius Caesar after Julius Caesar was betrayed. He's gone, but he's still the central figure. I don't know, whatever. For this particular hearing, he was the Julius Caesar post et tu Brute. And boy, this anti-environmental lawyer with no, I have more time in a court than Jeffrey Clark in terms of, you know, dealing with criminal cases. I have more experience. It's just, and I don't have much at all. And he was like, "Yes, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and become your acting attorney general and just let you upend the Constitution. And I mean, the seriousness with which this happened, today's hearing, you didn't hear uh, Mr. Donahue and I forget the names of them. It's hard to keep track of all these names. And Rosen. I mean, their conversation wasn't like it wasn't a joke. They weren't joking around. It wasn't. It was dead serious. It was happening, you know, and they withstood that pressure, and I commend them for it. And they're all like Trump appointed. They're all lifelong Republicans, and they're all under oath. You have to understand this oath thing. It's gonna come back and come back and come back, and you're gonna understand the meaning of the oath thing. If you don't keep your oath, there are not just repercussions to your own credibility, but you're gonna get in legal trouble for it. You're gonna get arrested for it. You're gonna get criminally charged for it. You're gonna get censured for it. You're gonna get disqualified for it. You're gonna get expelled for it. There are many, many ways to go about it. We're just getting to the phase of understanding what they did. And Mr. Unobtrusive Jeff Clark, he was one of those figures like John Eastman. He was probably a little bit less unwitting than John Eastman. He was probably more concerned about having the position of acting Attorney General of the United States and pretty much just sit there and let Donald call the shots. And John Eastman was the architect of what his role was going to be and what other people's roles were going to be. And these people are all slated for seditious conspiracy charges. It's coming. And he doesn't have any executive privilege as it pertains to January 6th. A radically conservative Supreme Court that is, tearing Miranda rights and, gun safety laws to shreds. I don't remember the last time since this court's favorite quoted case, Dred Scott, that there has been such a rogue Supreme Court. And even this radical Supreme Court said that no, the National Archives has to turn over to, as Republican leadership points out, in a Democratic majority congressional select committee. This court that just pretty much, started shaving off your Miranda rights and expanding gun rights. I don't know what they're gonna do with reproductive rights, but I can't imagine it's going to be good. Seeing the track record, but all of this goes to saying that even this sort of, as they would put it, conservative court said no, the National Archives has to turn over the documents pertaining to January 6th to the January 6th Select Committee, a Democrat majority committee, and denied Donald Trump's appeal on the issue of executive privilege. It's not that it's completely adjudicated, and I've talked ad nauseum about this whole executive privilege thing in previous episodes. Please check them if you want to learn about it. But that's what executive privilege doesn't exist as it pertains to January 6th. And the Supreme Court has said it as clearly as it can without saying it. It issued two orders in Trump v. Thompson. One was to allow National Archive documents specific to January 6th to the January 6th committee. And the second was to deny Donald Trump's executive privilege appeal from their vantage point, because Donald Trump didn't really bring up the only issue that they found to be relevant, which was whether a former POTUS has executive privilege. So it, we're at a point, and that's what I think. That's what today's hearing was about. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of much more watched people and more influential people will talk more about all the other things. But this is sort of what I gathered from this hearing. Yeah, it was a blockbuster hearing, but all five of these hearings have been blockbuster hearings. You know, when the ratings come out, um, everybody who's concerned with ratings are going to see, and I predict this is one of those projections, and one of the things about making these forecasts, political projections, is that I can be wrong. Um, Over 85% of the time, I have not been wrong. 90% of the time, um, I haven't done the math. You can tell me where I've been wrong. Uh, there's a risk to me being wrong when I make these predictions. Uh, but my prediction is, by the time the hearings are done, conclude the public hearings, because the committee is going to go on as long as it can. And when the DOJ prosecution indictments, not prosecutions, indictments begin of Jeffrey Clark, John Eastman level, Steve Bannon, Mark Meadows level people, at that point, about over 70% of Americans will want to see Donald Trump criminally prosecuted for what he did on January 6th and everything surrounding it. That is my prediction. And we're just going to have to see. With that, goodbye.